in the least pick me way possible. I feel like I have so much empathy for men. I'm like, do you have friends? Like, are you okay? Like, if I had been dealt the cards I have been dealt in my life as a man, like, quite frankly, I don't know how I would have done it. Like, the access that women have to vulnerability compared to the shame that men experience around it, it's like vulnerability and connection and like the ease of connection that I experience as a woman is all I have, I feel. Like that's all that's gotten me through the things that I have been through in my life. Like if I meet a new friend, if I meet a new woman, I can say, "Do you want to have a sleepover at my house? Do you want to get brunch?" Like we can so quickly go from 0 to 100 in our levels of love and intimacy, even in a platonic way. And I just feel like men either just get these default friendships when they're young because they're socially successful when they're young, or they're like, fuck the fuck up. And almost all of my friends are from like the past 4 years. Like I did not have many healthy friendships when I was younger. And I'm just saying, like, I don't know what like how I would have made it out of that without the access to vulnerability that I have as a woman. And I feel like I pride myself on being self-aware and reflective, but I feel like so much of my self-awareness as adult has come from having deep and vulnerable connections and friendships with other women that borderlined on feeling like a relationship, like a sisterhood, where I would constantly be called out for poor behavior. Like I couldn't get away with being a bad person when I was friends with other women. Like I can't get away with that because like women just like care for each other in that way. Don't get me wrong, like men can piss me off so much and have pissed me off so much in my life. But I'm just like, I have always had at least one like close female friend at all times to tell me when I am pissing them off, to keep me in check. Like I feel like to be a woman is to pretty much always be in a relationship even when you're single because the sisterhood and connection to vulnerability that you have, like the ease in which you can make deeper friendships than men can is just boundless. Like so much of my emotional maturity and my
Men aren't allowed. Brotherhood just doesn't exist in our culture. They're, as we read in The Decline of the American Male, they're expected to work, 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 and then come home and work on the house, this, that, and the other. So many times when men go into a relationship with a woman, they get separated from their friends. So we do have a male loneliness crisis. Many people, the official narrative lies about why that is. However, I have seen in our little TikTok confessionals more empathy for men than I've ever seen in my whole life. And this woman is she's 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 truthful. So let's let her finish what she said.
my understanding of myself has come from being a woman, being friends with women. And so, like, when a man pisses me off, I'm still pissed off about it, but I'm just like, maybe you have never had people around you to explain to you why you can't fucking talk like that. And it's harder to figure it out for yourself. Like, it really is harder to figure it out for yourself. And that doesn't excuse poor behavior, but I'm just kind of like, being a man seems like such a trap to me. Don't get me wrong, performing femininity is exhausting. Being a woman is exhausting. But performing masculinity, like,
It's not a performance. Do you ever notice it gets so close and then it's like, oh, so close? But it's not a performance. It should be who you are. And I don't think men are performing masculinity. But I suppose if your whole life is a performance in some way like that, you're going to think the other side is too.
I feel like when I was younger, I was surrounded by a lot of men that struggled to perform masculinity, men that were nerdy, men that were othered. I was quite nerdy and I was in like a lot of gifted programs. And I feel like the men that were around me struggled to perform masculinity and struggled to fit in this way. And I kind of feel like struggling to perform femininity as a woman is dangerous in a very different way to not being able to perform masculinity as a man. I feel like this is coming across as so pick me, and I'm not saying men don't piss me off. They literally piss me off so much. Like I can't even put it into words. I think
She's saying all these good things and having empathy for men, but then she's like, no, 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 no. No, no, wait, man, bad. Remember your programming. Remember your programming. Hold on, I'm not a pick me. Wait a minute. See that the propaganda pushes women. I don't want to say that as if they're victims. It programs women so that when they start to actually see truth, boom, boomerang, right back to no, man, bad. No, I don't want them to pick me. No, When in reality, you could see from the beginning, it's not what's inside for real. But that's why if you're a passport bro, you can't bring them back.
Think about it every day. But that being said, the thought of being a man is like nightmare fuel to me. Like, I don't think I've been friends with one man under the age of 25, I want to say, that doesn't low key loathe themselves, especially if they're single. Like, if they have a girlfriend, maybe they don't loathe themselves. But like, any single friend I have had that's a man under.
She just revealed something. If they have a girlfriend, they don't loathe themselves. That means that these men have been trained to value themselves based on the female perception of them. A lot of this comes from being raised by a dominant mother rather than the father leading the way the children are raised. And if you have a mother or sisters who are constantly ragging on men, yeah, they're going to grow up, despising themselves. It's true. And you see that a lot.
Age 25 exudes an aura of self-loathing, even if they don't talk to me about it. Like, they just exude that. Obviously, so many women loathe themselves as well, but I feel like we do it kind of collectively. Like, I really don't think that men talk to each other about their self-esteem issues. They just have the self-esteem issues. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. She's right. They are not allowed to. And they haven't been taught how as a man because, again, they've been raised by their mothers. And you can't relate. You can't make the boy think like a woman. It just doesn't work because he's a man. So today we're going to cover an article in Women's Health. Because, of course, Women's Health is going to tell us 7 behaviors that men do that's going to make them lonely. I mean, they have no shame. They have no shame. Welcome back to Far From Eden. There is a lot more empathy for men on TikTok and YouTube, all the social media platforms. Some of them are grifters, obviously, because they have realized there's a market for women talking about men's issues and how they're suffering and how they're being treated unfairly. But there are a lot of just random TikToks made by women who seem to really see that men are getting a raw deal and they're speaking out about it. I would put more of them on here, but they have copyrighted music, so can't do that. But it's interesting because as the women are figuring it out, more women are figuring it out, having empathy for men. Well, the overlords have to come in and continue to push their narrative and say, no, that's not the reason. Stop having empathy for those nasty, bad men, because here's the real reason. So buckle up and get your barf bags ready because, yeah, like I said, this is released from Your Tango on the internet, but it is via Women's Health. February 1st of this year. 7 behaviors of men who are destined to grow old, lonely, and isolated, according to psychology. Now, I will just say right away that this whole article, what it screams to me is, you're going to end up alone because you act like this and blah, blah, blah. That's what women say when they're angry, when they want to hurt you. They're going to tell you you're going to end up alone because that's what they want. They literally want you to suffer. It's an attack. But it's also, let's just think for a second, who is actually going to wind up alone as we're looking into the future? And it's going to be troublesome. In the Bible, men can just not marry. In fact, I think it was Paul that said it's better if you can control your, inner urges not to marry, because you can focus on the Lord and scripture and witnessing and things like that. But if you burn with desire, then you marry. Not the case with women. So that is not our duty or responsibility. It doesn't make sense biologically that would be a choice that would be good for us to make. So anyway, this is a panic, like, well, you're going to end up alone. Anyway, men who behave in these unappealing ways often end up alone and ostracized. The other thing that this is a cope for is men are walking away. They're not ending up alone. They're deciding they'd rather be alone than be with you. So women have got to shift it so that it's not their fault. Does that sound familiar to you guys? We've all encountered him, the self-proclaimed nice guy who suddenly reveals himself to be a needy narcissist, jealous jerk, or passive-aggressive entitled player. Or, if you're really unfortunate, some combination of all three. So how do you tell if the man you're dating is destined to grow old and lonely? Quote, you want to watch for patterns, says therapist and relationship expert Julie Hanks, PhD, owner and director of Wasatch Family Therapy, and author of The Burnout Cure. Quote, we all behave in unhealthy or manipulative ways once in a while, but it's problematic when there are consistent patterns of behavior that don't feel quite right. Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. It's all about feelings, right? Well, I feel this and I feel that. That's just the mood you're in. We should make decisions based on our moods and our feelings and the vibe. That's why nobody stays together, because that's why we break up. Here are the behaviors of men who are destined to be lonely and isolated as they grow old. It's such a revenge thing to say. Number 1, he says mean things in a nice way. Quote, if he says unkind or hurtful things to you, couched in a kind voice, or in the name of, I'm just being honest, that's still mean, says Hanks. Are you in 3rd grade? You're a big meanie head. How dare you say what's true if I don't like it? You shouldn't point out what's true. I mean, this is 7 reasons men are walking away. Actually, they're revealing it, aren't they? Always, they always reveal themselves. All you have to do is pay attention. And you don't even have to pay attention that much. Or if he makes cutting or belittling comments and then laughs it off by saying, I was only joking. Why are you taking so seriously? He just may be a jerk in disguise. Or she's overly sensitive because maybe she was irresponsible, or maybe she was lazy, or what have you. So you better not say anything that I receive as criticism. I thought we were so strong and independent. Oh, well, maybe only sometimes. 2, he pouts when you're busy. This is not most men. I don't know what she's talking about. Quote, you may be flattered that he wants to spend every free moment with you, says Hanks. Quote, but how does he respond when you aren't available? I don't know that men do this. I really don't. I think there might be a few who maybe have some mother issues done by the mother that might be clingy. But generally speaking, this is not the nature of man. Men need their alone time. And it's usually the other way around, where she's like, where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? You never pay attention to me. I think men do that. You let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm way off base, but I don't think so. A great guy will be able to express disappointment and that he'll miss you. A jerk in disguise will pout and give you a cold shoulder or a guilt trip for choosing someone else over him. What kind of fiction is this? When a man guilt trips you for choosing someone else over him, it's often a psychological tactic rooted in a desire to control your actions by manipulating your emotions. This usually stems from insecurity, rejection, or a sense of entitlement. You ever heard that phrase that people accuse you of that which they are doing? Seems apropos here. It makes you feel responsible for their pain and potentially causes you to reconsider your decision. Now, could it be that you decided to go out to the club with your girlfriends and you're scantily clad? Maybe he's not exactly jealous that you're not spending time with him. Maybe it's questioning a couple of those decisions. Just a thought that might be something that it could be. A 2014 study recommends communicating that you respect your choices and won't be manipulated by guilt tactics. Acknowledge their feelings while maintaining your decision, stating that you understand their disappointment but cannot change your selection. Yes, you can. You can value his opinion and you can alter your decisions. What are you talking about? 3, he defers to you on all decisions. I'm suspicious of this one for sure. This might seem super thoughtful at first, but Hank says it can actually be a big red flag. If he always wants you to decide things, where to go, what to do, that is a warning sign, she says. Well, after all these years of women not wanting men to lead and saying that if he does, he's controlling you. I mean, isn't this what you wanted? Didn't you want to be deferred to? Didn't you want to have power in the relationship? And this could be talking about young Gen Z guys who are not as grown up, are not as conservative, and a little flimsy. But it's certainly not men at large. Nice try, ladies. Healthy people are able to both express their own wants and also consider the input of their date or girlfriend. If a guy agrees with everything you say, think, say, or do, he's either not being genuine or doesn't have a good sense of who he is and may look to you to prop him up or initiate his self-worth. Many married men feed into this idea by joking about being kept on a short leash. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. And it's disgusting. Lola, don't mess with my shelves. That's my little doggy. And that reminds me to ask you guys to please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the show on other platforms that you think that it would spread this message and help educate men and women about what is really going on out there. Being kept on a short leash, or happy wife, happy life. This is not only a distorted and unfair characterization of men and women. It is not. It is exactly what's going on. That's why I said, that's why they're deferring, because that's what you wanted. That's what you said you wanted. That's why men have to just do what they're going to do and stop kowtowing. Absolutely stop it. It's not what they really want anyway. I've been saying forever that we don't know what we want. We don't. That's why, men are the leaders, and they're supposed to be. It's not only a distorted and unfair characterization of men and women, but a kind of rigid relationship role playing, whose paradigm was supposed to have gone out of style back in the 60s. Good relationships are about equality. I don't know what they're talking about out of style in the 60s. This is alive and well, and it probably started in the 60s. They involve give and take, strength and vulnerability, independence and closeness. That sounds chaotic to me. You need roles. However, a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships concluded that men and women sacrifice a lot when they give up too much of themselves for the sake of the relationship. Yeah, you should. You absolutely should. You should put it into the relationship, not yourself. It's not, I mean, this is exactly why we are where we are. Number 4, he talks trash about his exes. Again, accusing you of that which they are doing. Men don't usually do this. They usually wish their exes well. I don't know what kind of men these people are talking about. They're always talking about some small subset, and then they're like, this is what they all do. No, this is not accurate. But this is what they want women to think. Because man bad, then they're all alone. So if we're alone, well, it's obviously their fault. So he talks trash about his exes. Let's read this fiction. This is kind of similar to that advice about never dating a cheater. If he's really nice to you, but trash talks all of his past girlfriends and blames them for their breakup, he'll probably talk poorly about you and blame you too if things don't work out, says Hanks. That's exactly the red flag that men see in women. This is absolutely backwards. Are they this clueless about themselves and lack this that much self-awareness? I guess. I mean, I guess it's easier to be delusional than it is to be accountable. Oh, that sounds like a bumper sticker. There are 2 sides to every story, and someone who paints themselves as the victim in every breakup they've ever had is likely not telling the whole truth. Indeed, madam. Indeed. And I know which part of the population is doing that. Number 5, he keeps tabs on you at all times. They always want to push this. Men are so controlling. Men are so controlling. No. Communicating via little love notes and occasional check-ins when you're apart can be an important part of a healthy relationship. But if he's constantly keeping tabs on you, quote, that could be a sign of jealousy and insecurity. Yeah, but if you don't text and you're not in touch, then she's like, he ignores me. I wish he would send me a little text. Like, you can't win. You cannot win ever. If you're doing one thing, then that's wrong. If you're not doing that thing, then that's wrong. Even if he couches it in the name of love. Yeah, he's probably lying about every single thing he does and says. Because you know why? Man. This often stems from a desire for control, insecurity, or lingering feelings, potentially indicating a need to monitor your actions and whereabouts. I feel like I need the Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Because that's what you guys are so bad. You want to control people, just want to control us and stalk us. This can be a sign of possessiveness and could be linked to underlying issues like low self-esteem or a fear of abandonment. Maybe they're just committed and loyal and they'd rather not break up. Ever think that something might be, why do they have to think the worst? There's no benefit of the doubt. It's always, he's doing this, so he must have this bad characteristic. Assign something bad to it. Assign malintentions every time because they're raised thinking, men are bad, and to be wary of them. Number 6, he has strained relationships with other people in his life. If he treats other women in his life poorly or speaks about them disrespectfully, that's a clear indicator that there's likely a jerk lurking under that nice exterior. Well, yeah, but they generally don't do that. Men are not the ones that talk smack about other people, generally speaking. It's more of a female behavior, one might say. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. If he treats, oh, yeah, I already read that. If he has a pattern of strained, negative, or disconnected relationships with other women, but claims to adore you, proceed with caution, says Hanks. Or, and this is a little out there, or maybe there's a problem with women, and maybe he's experienced that. And maybe he thinks he sees something in you that's very different. I mean, you might go, yeah, there are some bad ones out there. I get it. You've been broken. I get it. Go ahead. Tell it to me. Lay it on me. I know. You could listen to it and go, wow, men really have a different experience in life, and start to have empathy for them. Or be like these people and say, oh, he has all these bad relationships with women. It's definitely him. And yeah, you might say, well, common denominator. And most of the time that would be true. But when you are, when you are red pilled, you have learned, oh, it's not the case. It's not. It's actually not Occam's razor. It's not always Occam's razor. Sometimes it's the complicated one that you have to look deeper in. Number 7, this is the final one. He shows no other emotions about excessive niceness. He shows no other emotions about excessive niceness. The sentence didn't even make sense to me. No one feels nice all the time. Oh, I see what he's saying. He's always nice. Oh, you mean like society has taught him he better behave, or he's going to be accused of something or shamed for something or whatever? Men are like, oh my God, I better walk this narrow line. Anything I do is going to be criticized. And now you're like, oh, don't do that. That's wrong too. No one feels nice all the time. Failure to express other emotions can be a major warning sign. Excuse me, I'm going to have to press pause and fix your little self. Just got some packing material. Excessive niceness can be a cover for a lack of secure sense of self and emotional neediness. All through this article is like, well, if he does this, he's just insecure. He just can't handle it. That's always what women say. And they never look deeper, and they never, she's playing with it now. So that means you definitely have to like the video. Oh. So it can be, it's a lack of being secure. Hank says, healthy adults can express a full range of emotion. Men aren't allowed to do that. Men aren't allowed to express a full range of emotions. Are you insane? Happy, mad, sad, scored, surprised, shame, and don't need to hide behind a facade of niceness. That is not the... Tell me you don't know anything about what men face in society without telling me. Oh, men not showing emotions and ending up alone often stems from societal expectations of masculinity. No, societal expectations that man is going to be bad, so he better behave so he's not looked at like a predator. Don't make eye contact. Do you know how few men like make eye contact with me now? And then when you're walking past them, they walk way around because they know they're walking on eggshells in this society. A 2018 study concluded that this can lead to the suppression of feelings, creating a barrier to emotional intimacy and ultimately hindering healthy relationships, leaving them isolated and lonely. Yeah, let's have empathy and take responsibility and accountability. We need to do that. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as normative male alexithymia. That's a word. Ultimately, it's important to learn to trust your gut. I hate that. Why don't you use your brain? Really? Are we going to have feelings and guts? If your instincts are telling you that something about him feels off, don't disregard that feeling. And that's why we are where we are. And that's why they not men, are going to end up alone. So they have to make up a lie and say, oh, it's not because they're going their own way. It's not because we pushed them to go that way. No, it's because they have all these issues and we're just going to accuse them of all these, bad characteristics and bad intentions and say it's their fault. It has to be men's fault. You know why it has to be men's fault? Because if it's not the man's fault, if it's not men in general's fault, it might be someone else's fault. Can't have that. That's that icky accountability again. No, don't want that. So let's have delusions instead. But like I said, thankfully there are some women calling it out. And even if some of them are grifters, truth is truth. Get it out there. The more that's out there, the more other women will see it. And truth is more powerful than lies. Truth wins out in the end. It really does win out in the end. Because God is truth. And we win in the end. We do. It's going to get bad before that. We win in the end. Truth wins in the end. So be on the side of truth. And let that comfort you. Let that feed your soul. Always protect your peace. I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one.